This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I know that you've been around for all of his WCW craziness, you know, jumping off the apron onto the concrete with the elbow and all that jazz. But now that you're sort of assuming different roles, you're no longer quote unquote just the announcer. You've also got some talent duties behind the scenes. Are you still approaching him after some of these stunts and saying, Mick, we don't
Yeah.
need that? What's that
Yeah.
look like?
Well, you know, it's hard to correct things that have already happened.
Right.
He had no filter, Conrad. He just, he always wanted to please the fans. He always wanted to do more for the guy that he was working with. Mick was a very unselfish performer. So, but yeah, we'd have those conversations. And, you know, it's like the one that Vince had with him after the Hell in a Cell. We'll never, ever come close to doing this again. Now, whether that's true or not, you know, we saw Shane take some crazy ass chances.
Yeah.
And every year, somebody tries to outdo Mick's bump. I don't know why. I don't know what it proves. It's not logical. And the risk reward quotient is out of balance. So, yeah, I talked to Mick several times about that. You know, just didn't need, sometimes he would do too many things. You keep taking big chances, somewhere along the way, you're going to get your ass blown up.
Yeah.
And so to limit your chances, eliminate as many of these opportunities to put yourself in a hospital or affect your career going forward. So, but I don't want to say he didn't listen. I know that Mick appreciated the concern that we all had for him, especially me. Because, you know, I put my reputation on the line to get him hired.
Right.
In the very formative times of my time as the head of talent relations. And so, I don't know. But he couldn't convince him to he only had one style, Conrad. You know, I said this before on here, you know, these guys are like wild horses, like Mustangs or something. They're meant to be let to run loose in a pasture or on property, and that's, you can't put a bit in their mouth and pull them back and they'll be happy, or to give you their best work. And with that comes a price that you have to be prepared to make if that does occur. So, but he would listen. He would thank me for the concern, or anybody else that was speaking to him, but it wasn't going to matter. He's a wild horse. He's going to run.
Let's do the discussion of bad blood, because the main event that night that does happen is Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the very first Hell in the Cell. And we saw in the biography just this past weekend that for weeks leading up to the King of the Ring match in a Hell in the Cell in June of '98, Mick is pestering Mark with, "Hey, I want you to throw me off the cage." And he continues to get shut down. How early do you think Mick had that spot in mind? I mean, does he see a structure like that the first time and think, "What if?"
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees a structure like that for the first time it had been used, and started picturing himself in it. And what could I do in this moment if I'm in a Hell in a Cell match with Taker that will create an everlasting memory? And he went way to the extreme, and the bump off the top of the cage. Conrad, I still have people that tweet me at JRSBBQ, or I see them in an airport now or wherever, that they talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Still talked about the bump off the cell. If I would have screwed up history, because if it had been solely left to me, it would have never have happened. The risk reward is too finite. How do you get up from that? How do you not break something? How do you not destroy body parts? Something's got to give here. You don't learn to do this in wrestling school. It's just, I would have said no if the risk is too high, and based on the risk reward ratio. But I'm glad I didn't have the vote on it. I didn't know he was going to do the damn thing. That's what's beautiful about it. I had no idea that spot was even in the match. So, and at the end of the day, I guess it worked out good. I mean, we're all talking about it today in 2021. This was 1998. So it was pretty cool, but it was ill-advised. And I know with Vince, after it was over, after he gave Mick a little love, said, you know, we're never doing something like this again. Whether that is accurate or not, as time moved on, I don't know. I can make some arguments that, well, maybe there's a few exceptions, but not with Mick in the cell. So you just can't follow it, man. You can't follow it. And it's just too dangerous. Jesus Christ, it's too dangerous.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.